Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. Um, I have decided a new direction. For a long time, I've been doing YouTube videos, didn't go anywhere. A blog didn't go anywhere. Um, and I was thinking about it because there's really is a time where, as far as I'm concerned, I need to make a statement. Um, I think I'm a very smart person. I have lived a unique life and I have financial resources, and I do think it's time for me to build my empire. And as I was thinking about it, is I don't want to sit in a store and have a bunch of people come and ask for discount product. It's going to annoy the hell out of me. Um, and this is what if the business isn't the direction to go, what direction is there to go? And there's one thing that's very unique to me as far as I'm concerned, and that's my mindset. I'm concerned about America. There was an election. The majority of the American people voted. The American system is built on the Electoral College, whether you like it or not. And because of the Electoral College, Mr. Trump won the presidency of the United States of America. Nobody has a problem with the Electoral College when Democrats win. And the thing that's concerning me is that there's nothing wrong with Donald Trump. People say that he's crude to women and he's racist. The reason people say he's crude to women is because of that report of some conversation that he had. And the conversation that he was having was a private conversation, not a conversation on record. And I can say that people say a lot in private that they would prefer not be subject to public scrutiny. Should he be talking about women in the manner that he was talking? No. But then again, should any woman or any man be talking in that manner? And we live in a society where people are very free with their speech. I'm going to dig around for cough drops because every time I do this, for some odd reason, I have to start hacking. And that's a very important issue. Mr. Donald Trump lives in a society where media has movies like, no, that's not going to work. Hangover 1, 2, and 3, Jackass. I don't even know how many of those things were made. Last year there was a movie called, I think, Christmas Office Party with Jennifer Aniston and some other well-known male actor, and that thing was vulgar. I mean, for name celebrities, people that are known, especially someone like Jennifer Aniston, to lend her name to something that's, which is basically garbage. Um, Shows the society that we're in. Now, I'm not going to tell people, don't do this or do that. You have to decide for yourself, and all I'm doing is delivering information. So, on the issue of Trump's attitude towards women, as someone who has meditated, observed life, studied psychology formally, I would have to say that his attitudes are in line with the attitude of the majority of people in the world, not just in the United States of America. We live in a sexually immature world. I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that Mr. Trump is no more than you and I. And all we are is members of a very electronic culture that has messages of vulgarity and sexual perversion. On the issue of the judge, yeah, I was born in Mexico. I live in El Paso, Texas. And I can honestly, sincerely tell you that people from Mexico keep their Mexicanism inside themselves. And they view the world according to, well, obviously the cough drop's not working, but they view the world according to what their Mexican culture tells you. there's a discussion on about something called the Johnson Bill, which limits pastors, leaders of churches to make political statements in the church as a qualification, as a requirement for tax exempt status. And in my opinion, it's in violation of the United States constitutional protection of freedom of speech and freedom of religion. However, when Trump was running here in El Paso, Texas, and across the border in Mexico, the Catholic Church, the priests, the bishops, were getting behind a movement to tell the parishioners, the people in the church, not to vote for Trump. And that's when I realized how dangerous, how powerful and dangerous it is to allow churches to make political statements. I still believe it's wrong. It's in strict violation of United States constitutional protection of freedom of speech and freedom of religion, freedom of worship. But having seen the Catholic Church engage in a falsehood to lie about a presidential candidate, because he's not, okay, as far as I am concerned, a person with a bachelor's in psychology, and who has meditated and written many articles on issues of life and human behavior and human psychology, I find no psychological defect in Mr. Trump. Zero. Therefore, the Catholic Church was not justified in a movement, in a campaign against Mr. Trump. Moving on. Yes, I do think that judge could not be fair and objective because of his Mexican heritage, because I have seen it in El Paso, Texas, and I see it in the people who that I interact with on a regular basis. I keep telling people I'm not locked up in a windowless office somewhere. I see people from Mexico on a regular basis every single day because of the business that I'm involved with. Now, moving on the issue of immigration. The need for a wall. The need to get Mexico to pay for it. When you're going to build a society, hopefully the goal is to build a successful society. And when you build a successful society, you have to recognize that you need responsible individuals. People who pay their way through life. Pay their way and pay their way and and take care of their families. In psychology, I divide things into thoughts, emotions, sensations, and behaviors. There are a lot of people in American society with very dangerous thoughts. I'm going to say this again. You have to convince me that the money I earn by investing 60 to 70 hours in my business has to be given to people who don't. Has to be given to people who wake up at 1 in the afternoon, have a snack, and then go back to sleep. And then go out to have a nightlife and drink and do drugs and participate in orgies. Why am I working, paying taxes for other people to have a better life than me? I would like to wake up at 1 in the afternoon. I would like to go out and have a nightlife. Actually, I wouldn't. But the point being is, you're organized in a society. Societies are made of people. And if your goal is to have a successful society, then you need productive members of society. Not brainwashed dummies who perform the duties that they have been brainwashed to do. No, I mean, just an individual who provides a service, whether that's being a nurse, a taxi driver, or a police officer. And too many people weave their mental deficiencies into their professional life. I operate a taxi in a statement period. My job is to drive a person from point A to point B. It's not to have political debates. It is not to let people into my personal life. It is not to justify all the decisions that I have made. And that's a problem in society. People cannot divorce themselves from their personal issues. You're going to build a society. You want a society with people who are of the positive mindset and not the negative mindset. These are real issues. This is what's bugging me about the whole Trump won a legitimate campaign. He is the president of the United States of America, and he's being an excellent administrator. And the obstacles in his way are Democrats. And this has real life consequences. I just finished watching I was curious about who Steve Bannon is. And so I started looking into it, and he was making documentaries there for a while. And one of the documentaries he made involves Reagan, but he goes through all the challenges in human history, like Hitler and Mao Zedong and Ho Chi Minh and all the horrible people in Nicaragua and Honduras and Grenada and all the people in the Middle East. And we have ample amount of evidence from Stalin and I always forget the other guy, or it doesn't matter. We have ample amount of evidence by looking at people like just forgot. It doesn't matter. Dictators, tyrants across the world, subjugating people to harsh conditions, murdering them. We're forgetting about Rwanda. We're forgetting about Yugoslavia. We're forgetting about Germany. We're forgetting about Russia and Russia control of Poland and all the Eastern Bloc nations. The people of Russia today are not free. The mindset is that Putin is popular in Russia. No, he's not. If you're living in poverty, you're not enjoying the people who are creating the conditions. And these are real life issues. These are important issues. Are you a free person? Are you a free person with liberty and independence? Can you enjoy your music? Can you wear the baseball cap you want to wear? I can tell you that standing outside my taxi waiting for customers, I sense the animosity of young Mexican men when they see the baseball cap that I'm wearing. I am standing on American soil, being hated by ignorant people from Mexico. So America's not free because America has been controlled through information. And if you're a liberal or a Democrat, what do you stand for? What are you fighting for? You're fighting to become a slave of communism? You're fighting so everything that you work for is taken from you in taxes by irresponsible government? Obama was supposed to be the great messiah. And he turned out to be a person who doubled the national debt that you and I have to pay. And that the Congress of the United States of America wants to continue to grow. Not Trump. Trump doesn't want to grow the national debt. But Trump has all these miserable congressional people who obviously want to continue spending. Why would they want to continue spending? America's in a crisis. See, those are the real issues in American society. Homosexuality is not the real issue. Are there poor people in America? There are poor people in America, but there are poor people in America because they have been robbed by the politicians, not the business people. It is the politicians who engage in irresponsible spending. not the business people. Yes, in irresponsible spending, the politicians give money to businesses, which should stop. No business should ever get another cent from a taxpayer. The Federal Reserve does have to be closed down. There's no reason for it. And when you have all these people whose most important thing in life is to be offensive in their criticism of Trump, completely unaware of the issue that I have to be responsible. The rule of the relationship between members of society is that I don't harm you and you don't harm me. Because I am working hard. I'm not harming you. Because you're being a lazy good for nothing, you are harming me. I'm having to pay taxes for what you won't do for yourself and your family. It's a lot of bad attitude. There's a lot of unhealthy attitude. And everybody is born the same. Literally the same. And it takes society to impose attitudes, philosophies, ideas. You can call them what you want to call them. But those thoughts influence emotions, and emotions influence behavior. And we all pay for it. The correct society to build is a society with responsible people. The correct society to build is a society with responsible people where the delicate relationship between government and the governed is adhered to. Keep it basic. Garbage collection, public safety. All this other stuff. I could be doing a whole lot more for myself if I wasn't paying all these taxes supposedly to help other people. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to ask the question again. With the $11.5 trillion that Obama wasted, who was helped? America does not look like a country where, you know, where $11.5 trillion was invested in this country. You cannot say the war in Afghanistan and you cannot say the war in Iraq, because according to Obama, he stopped the war in Afghanistan and he stopped the war in Iraq. Where was his peace dividend? And all of this has to be discussed. All of this has to be answered. All these questions have to be answered. I'm being a responsible person. I'm being a responsible person by supporting Trump because Trump is a good administrator. Trump knows how to write budgets. Trump knows how to add and subtract. Trump knows the reality of what is needed in government and what is not needed in government. What is not needed in government is the foolish idea that government is a safety net for when people fail. Your own ingenuity, your own creativity is your safety net for when you lose a job. And when you have a job, you have to be financially responsible. And you have to be personally responsible in the manner that you raise your children. The reason children become drug addicts is because of the way the parents parented them. A fulfilled child, a child that is receiving all the intellectual and emotional nourishment that a child should get from a parent, doesn't need drugs to fill the void. And all of you wackos screaming and behaving like idiots, you're ignorant and you don't understand what is at stake. I mean, what kind of person believes that the question to criminal behavior is to disarm the people who don't commit crimes? The majority of people in society don't commit crimes. It's that simple. The majority of the people in America do not commit crimes. The majority of gun owners are responsible gun owners. You know, it's like saying you have some people who drive drunk, we're going to outlaw cars. That's how foolish it is. And America is in danger. America is in danger of collapse. We have a perfect example near the United States of America of what happens when citizens cop a bad attitude, go under foolish assumptions that have nothing to do with reality, but for some odd reason guide every second of their lives. You are not an independent thinker. You're a person brainwashed by the liberal media, and the liberal media works for the American Communist Party. It's a lot better to be responsible than to be irresponsible. You will have a better life when you're in charge, when you're in control, when you're making the decisions, not when government is making the decisions for you. Why in the world would you want government to make your decisions? This morning, I went to Walmart to buy my groceries, and there are no more cashiers. You have to go to their self-checkout. And the employees who are there, who are supposed to open a cash register, if requested, are hiding. And they don't realize they're putting themselves out of business, because eventually the robots will take over, and those employees hiding so they don't have to open a cash register will be fired. You're unnecessary. You're not needed. That's what happens when somebody else is in control. I'm a customer. Why am I having to work for Walmart by scanning my products, bagging them? And then the worst part about it is you go through all that, you get your receipt, you're on the way out, and the security guard wants to look at your receipt. So I'm going to Walmart to pay my money to be treated like a criminal by Walmart. Here where I live, I don't see a government that works. I see government that steals from people on a regular basis. El Paso, Texas, it's everywhere you go, there's broken streets. Everywhere you go, there's road construction. There's news media reports it, but those in charge could care less. They don't have to sit in traffic. They're somewhere else in Austin. They've made a mess of the city. And it's theft. It's nothing more than a politician who has a friend in construction and who wants to help his friend make money, or her friend make money. El Paso has a baseball park, hold on here, a trolley, supposedly an Olympic style swimming pool. They're trying to get some kind of arena in the downtown area, and what they have is a horrible police force. When public safety is fifth in line to a trolley, to a baseball park, to an arena park, to an Olympic style swimming pool, this city is supposed to have approximately 2,000 police officers. It has 1,000. And in reality, I don't think that's a bad thing, but because to me what that means is that there are less police officers to violate the human rights and the constitutional right, the United States constitutional rights of the people in El Paso, Texas. So I actually think that's a good thing. I can take care of the majority of my personal safety by the decisions that I make and being prepared to defend myself with the weapons that the law allows me to use. And I've always said that the biggest weapon that you have is the law. Understand the law, and you'll understand how to take care of yourself. And if you don't like the limits that the law puts on you, then work to have those laws changed. And there's too many lazy people in America. There's too many brainwashed people to the negative. Conservatism is a positive. It allows individuals to invest in themselves, invest in their lives, invest in their families, and reap the rewards of those investments. Why are we being forced to pay for people who have no good ideas, have no ambition, have no self-esteem? I mean, I studied psychology, and yes, I do have compassion for people who have been beat up by life. But this is an important point. We just saw hold on. The Las Vegas incident, the New York incident, and now the incident in Texas. And everybody's asking the question, well, what is it? What's the answer? What's the solution? And I know that the solution is good mental health. And we have a system of mental health that is rather immature, that is vulgar. People do suffer from mental illness. And the majority of people don't wake up and say, I want to suffer from mental illness. But the reality is, like I said earlier, we all start out the same. But life beats up seriously a lot of people. And where the answer is to not give in to the negativity, to use positive therapy, to think in a different way. I'm going to say that a lot of Democrats happen to believe that everything in life sucks, everything in life is wrong, and they have to correct it. From my standpoint, a lot of people of the liberal Democrat side are individuals with serious mental health issues. And they're weaving their personal nature that involves those serious mental health issues into their politics. And because they struggle with life, and they're tired of the struggle, and they want government to give them a vacation that's paid by those of us who are actually working, they support Democratic policies. What do Democrats have to offer a small business person? What do they have to offer a taxi driver? What do they have to offer a nurse, a school teacher? Will we live in a safe, secure society? No, we're not in a safe, secure society. We are under a threat every single second that we're alive now because of government attitude towards Islam. Excuse me. All you have to do is read the Quran and know how dangerous Islam is. Illegal immigration from Mexico is dangerous. The idea that the people of Mexico entering into the United States of America illegally are doing something good, it's a perversion of truth. You got to read a little bit of history. It doesn't take, look, find yourself a couple of documentaries on YouTube or wherever you want to on the internet, and you will see how Santa Anna lost Texas, and you will see how Santa Anna lost the Mexican-American War. In my mindset, it's simple. If you compare 200 years of American history to 200 years of Mexican history, which country created the most with what they had? Mexico has lumber. Mexico has oceans that they can fish in, waters that they can fish in. Mexico has oil, gold, diamonds. Mexico has a substantial amount of natural resources that private individuals can harness in the practice of free enterprise, capitalism, and be just as economically successful, if not more, than America. Why aren't they? You ask yourself that question. Why aren't they? Why is Mexico a failed state? It's all down to bad attitude, negative attitude. The person of Mexico a long time ago decided everything sucks, nothing works, why bother? And they also decided that if they can't make it in Mexico, they'll jump the border and steal from Americans. The space shuttle didn't exist when the quote-unquote Americans stole Mexico. Computers cell phones, Walmarts, hospitals. The only thing that the Mexicans were doing was literally squatting on dirt. They talk about the natural resources. They were not mining or harnessing their natural resources. They were literally squatting on dirt. It's their problem that they didn't know that underneath that dirt were natural resources. To the victor go the spoils. To the smartest person, the one who's better fit to compete, will win. I'm not talking about brute force. I'm talking about intelligence. Intelligence built America. Intelligent Europeans built America. There wouldn't be anything here if it wasn't for all the intelligent white people who had an idea and decided to make that idea come true. They took the risk. Some failed. Many succeeded. They succeeded because they used the principles of success, which can benefit anybody. And the principles of success do not include negativity, a piss poor attitude. The principles of success include positive attitude, working hard, investing, and sacrificing. But of course, the automatic question is why to go through that much work and sacrifice if all government is going to do is screw you, tax you into non-existence. It's interesting how Obama's friends at General Electric didn't pay any taxes during the time that Obama was the president. He spoke eloquently about the 31%, but it was the 31% who helped him get elected, and it was the 31% that was getting all your tax dollars. That's where your tax money went. Your tax money went to the 1% that Obama supposedly hated so much. And do we let them manipulate us? Do we let them put ideas in our head? Do we allow them to control us? Make us slaves to their way? The only good thing is for people to be personally responsible and to work on their lives. I need to work on my life, and you need to work on your life, and I need to leave my neighbor alone, and you need to leave your neighbor alone. But again, too many people struggle in life, go through hardship in life, go through trauma, make poor decisions, and all of a sudden they want government to save them, but the government that they want to save them is funded by our tax dollars. If you have better ideas, you'd have a better life. Ideas lead to spirit, to positive energy, positive emotions. Freedom from depression and anxiety comes through positive ideas. It comes from stopping the obsession with negative ideas. You're not going to get far in life if all you got to say is everything sucks. Nothing's ever going to work out. I'm always going to fail. That's not going to lead you to any good place in your life. And acceptance is a big part of life. And what I have been seeing ever since Mr. Trump has been elected has just right down disgusted me. You have a perfect opportunity to have a government of the United States of America properly administrated by a quality administrator, which is Mr. Trump. And you have the news media doing everything possible to trash and destroy Trump's reputation. And then the end result is probably more debt, more foolish government policies, less freedom, less liberty, and less independence.